Hello, Tarnished, and welcome back to the channel. If you've ever played a game and feel like the world is telling you secrets it doesn't want you to understand, that's exactly the vibe in Wuchang Fallen Feathers. On the surface, it's a Soulslike drenched in decay and feathers, but underneath, it's dripping with real Chinese history, folklore, and myths that go way deeper than the boss fights and cursed blades. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the real stories that inspired Wuchang Fallen Feathers, the tragic dynasties, forgotten legends, and dark spirits that make this world so haunting. Stick around, because I promise after this you won't just dodge a boss in Wuchang, you'll know who that boss is meant to represent, and you'll see how the game turns real history into living nightmare fuel. First, let's set the stage. Wuchang drops us into the final years of the Ming dynasty, between 1570 and 1644. This wasn't just any dynasty collapse. This was a time of famine, peasant uprisings, roving bandit armies, and a plague that wiped out entire villages. Imagine your world collapsing. The emperor's court is rotting from the inside. Local warlords carve up what's left. Corrupt officials tax starving peasants into rebellion. All this real-world dread drips into Wuchang's world design. Abandoned temples, cursed rivers, decaying towns. And did you know the real Ming dynasty ended when rebel leader Li Zingcheng stormed Beijing and Emperor Chongzhen, the last Ming emperor, hanged himself on a tree on a hill in Beijing as the Ming dynasty was collapsing? That same despair bleeds into Wuchang's world, a realm full of rulers undone by their own people. Now, what's with the feathers? Wuchang isn't just about swords and ghosts, it's about a spreading curse. In Chinese folklore, there's an old myth of the Zhu Kui, or Vermilion Bird. It's one of the four symbols of the Chinese constellations, representing the south, summer, and fire. It's often depicted as a large fiery red bird, sometimes resembling a phoenix, and is associated with rebirth, renewal, and the sun. But when corrupted, that bird can become a bad omen. The Vermilion Bird's fiery nature can be twisted into a destructive force, representing chaos, destruction, and even pestilence? Wuchang flips this symbol. The feathers you see all over the world aren't just decoration. They represent a corruption that once protected the land, but now devours it. And your character, Wuchang, is cursed by these fallen feathers, like she's carrying a piece of a dying guardian spirit inside her. It's a metaphor for a country literally eating itself alive. So, let's talk monsters. These twisted spirits roaming Wuchang, they're not random, they're inspired by real ghost lore. China's got a rich history of hungry ghosts, spirits of people who died violently or were never buried properly. They wander, hungry, lonely, and cursed to spread misfortune. They are distinct from ancestral spirits who are honored and cared for by their families. These ghosts are often depicted with grotesque features and insatiable desires, symbolizing their inability to find peace or satisfaction. In Wuchang, every grotesque enemy you fight is like a physical echo of this. Twisted peasants, corrupted monks, warriors rotting in armor. They're reminders that in this world, death doesn't set you free. It chains you here, hungry and hollow. So, fun fact, the real Hungry Ghost Festival is still celebrated in parts of China today. It involves rituals to appease wandering spirits, particularly ancestors and those who died tragically. In many parts of China, families offer food, burn incense, and paper replicas of valuable items, and release water lanterns to honor the deceased and prevent them from causing trouble for the living. The concept also involves the belief that restless spirits are released from the underworld during the 7th month of the lunar calendar. Wuchang essentially takes that idea and says, what if the offerings didn't work? The game explores a scenario where these offerings might not be effective, introducing a darker, more unsettling twist to the festival's traditional narrative. Now, the juicy part, the bosses. If you look at early previews, a lot of Wuchang's major bosses are twisted versions of real figures or folklore. One rumor is that the corrupted generals you face are inspired by loyalist Ming commanders who refused to surrender when the dynasty fell. These commanders, after being defeated, turned to banditry in the mountains, but their ideals are twisted. Wuchang warps them into undead tyrants, guardians of a rotting ideal, or look at the demon monk archetype, a nod to historical Buddhist sects that sometimes raised militias to protect temples, but also got tangled in local power plays. In the game, these monks have fallen. Literally. They're corrupted by the same feather plague. Symbols of faith turn monstrous. And what about all the mystical elements? That's pure Taoist alchemy. In late Ming China, folk Taoism was full of stories about secret elixirs, talismans, and immortality cults. These elements, often interwoven with popular beliefs and traditions, reflected a deep-seated desire for longevity and spiritual transcendence within the broader Chinese cultural landscape. In Wuchang, the feather curse might be linked to an alchemical ritual gone wrong, a desperate attempt to gain eternal life as the empire burned instead of salvation, a plague of feathers and decay. And of course, Wuchang herself. Her name isn't random. There's a real Wuchang city in China, a historical hotspot for rebellion. But the name also nods to the Haibei Wuchang, two legendary underworld guardians, black and white imperimantants, who guided souls to the afterlife. They are depicted as one dressed in white, the other in black, and are responsible for escorting the deceased to the realm of the dead. Your character is basically a wandering judge, half life, half ghost, carrying a burden to put restless souls to rest, even if she's cursed herself. So next time you explore a rotting temple or face a feathered horror in Wuchang Fallen Feathers, remember, you're not just hacking through monsters, you're stepping into a myth that's half history, half nightmare, and fully tragic. That's what makes Wuchang stand out. It's not just a Soulslike clone. It's a haunted love letter to a real past, the kind that still echoes today. If you're hyped for Wuchang Fallen Feathers, smash that like button so the algorithm knows we're all cursed together. Drop a comment. Which myth or real historical twist are you hoping to see in the full game? And subscribe. We'll break down more hidden lore, boss secrets, and ancient nightmares when Wuchang drops. And if you haven't already, please head on over to my Twitch account at LimeryEN so you can watch me play Wuchang Fallen Feathers when it comes out in real time. I'll see you all at the next bonfire. Don't forget to watch the shadows. Goodbye.